Is it time already?
Oh, my bad.
It's a little late time. It's 10:12, and we are a little late for the rundown. We were having some technical difficulties. I'm Carrie Kaufman.
I'm Tameka Henry.
Hey,
How y'all doing? It's so good to be back.
it is good to be back.
It felt like it was forever.
It was.
during
Well, they
spring
took
break.
they sort of took a couple weeks off in between their regular meetings. It's been sort of weird.
Right. Well, welcome to the rundown again. Oh my goodness. So, what do you think? What do you think? Did anybody watch the school board meeting last night?
Yeah, put it in the what you think in the comment section about what you thought about the school board
What
meeting
you
last
thought?
night.
I personally thought it should have been sponsored by the Love Store.
I did.
I mean, all the comments, the public comments around sex, sex ed, it really should have been, yeah.
Obviously, we know that those comments were ill-informed at the very least.
What's in this box?
When I don't know, but it's not a. No, I can't
Is that a
say
tissue?
it.
Is that
Can I say it?
Yeah,
Can I say that whether that's a pubic hair box? Because that is something that one of the people who was escorted out or who sort of walked away yelled at. I think it was Lola Brooks. She has a box. That was it. It was Stephanie. She was pulled out, but she has a box. She has a pubic hair box, and I have no idea what Stephanie said. She came up. She started talking about Disney, and she started.
Water shortage.
Water shortage. Yes.
It was
yes. We give all our water to California. Like it was. First of all, it was very ill-informed. Second of all, it was also calculated. I mean, this is what Stephanie and Lorena and those kind of people with them. First of all, they're idiots. I'm just going to say this. They do not know what they're talking about. They don't care to know what they're talking about. They just want to come in and make a scene. And that's what they do. They come in and they say.
They're doing a good job at it because, I mean, last night was just like, come on, can we really talk about student achievement and outcomes and all the things that our staff need?
But I want to make this point. I want to make this point because I feel like it's hurtful. They come in, they say something outrageous, they don't follow the rules, they start yelling, and then they get kicked out, and which is what they want. They don't want to sit there all night. Yeah. When Stephanie made that crazy commentary, she turned around and smiled at Lorena when she was done, and then they got kicked out. But as they got kicked out, they started throwing some really, really hateful comments at Jamie Tedrinsky, who is queer, who comes in rainbow colors all the time, but so does Sarah Comroe, and nobody throws hateful comments at her. Jamie will make jokes like she did last night. She was like, I had to take my kids to Disneyland because I only have 4 more weeks to indoctrinate them into the gay agenda. So she fights back, but they say some really, 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 really nasty stuff to her. And since it's a pattern and since it happens every single time, I feel like Irene Cepeda has every right to say you cannot come to these meetings anymore because you have demonstrated over and over and over again that you're just there to make to make chaos and to hurt people.
Right.
So that's my thing for today. That's all I have to say. I'm going to be quiet for the rest.
No, you won't be quiet for the rest. I bet you she won't. But it's just like, it's crazy. And and even for our trustees, sometimes I have to applaud them for like just sitting there and taking it. But sometimes it's like when Lola got up and was like, I didn't know, was she leaving? Was she going to leave? Was she going to go down there? I didn't know what was going to happen, when she stood up and all those comments was being made. And I just like, sometimes I'm just like thankful, Sometimes I'm thankful that I get to sit in the audience or watch from home. Because, I mean, it'll be a different story. It'll be a different story. But sometimes they know who to push or try to bully. But I'm just happy that they do stand up for themselves. There's no place for hate, no place for just stupidity.
Well, I do want to speak to that a little bit, though, because there are teachers who show up, and Sarah and Jamie are two of them. Ryan Frommelts is another one. Vicki Krydell, Alexis Salt, who gave an amazing speech, and I have it on my YouTube, and I will send it so that we can actually put it in the comments here. These people show up all the time, and they're very clear. Carlana Kulseth is another one. She wasn't there last night, though. They're very clear that they know that the people sitting on the dais don't take them seriously. They don't look at them half the time. And the view from the people who are the school board members, not all of them. I mean, if you look, Lisa is always sitting up straight and looking straight at you and listening. And, there are other people who are listening, but I don't see Evelyn Garcia Morales making eye contact with anybody. Lola often will make jokes and sort of make fun of them to the person next to her. And that's one of the things that I don't really understand. These are people who are passionate. They show up she showed me here. They are passionate. They show up every single time. They speak. They know what they're talking about. They're often correct in the end. And because they're so passionate and they show up and speak, we tend to think of them as losers.
And it's not.
They have nothing better to do but to show up to the school board and squawk. And I don't think that Lola Brooks understands the content of things, right? Like I think she just sees the teachers who come up every week and the crazy people who come up every week as the same thing. Because they're all coming to the school board and talking, and they have nothing better to do with their lives.
No, it's important.
And so it's really hurtful to watch that.
Yeah, it's important to listen to everybody when they come, and you weed out the good information with the misinformed or ill-informed.
If you have the ability to do that, yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, it's a skill. It's a skill for sure. Mm-hmm. So there was prior to the meeting. You attended in person because there was a protest yesterday, right?
There was a protest. Mm-hmm. Not many people showed up to protest. I think there were probably more media there than there were people protesting. Actually, that's not true. There were maybe 20 people there protesting. There were a couple of groups that Make the Road brought some kids in.
The Youth Power Project.
Mm-hmm. And the Youth Power, their Youth Power Project. And Code Switch brought some youth in to talk to media.
Shout out to our youth.
Yes.
Shout out to our youth using their voice, advocating for themselves.
But teachers, fewer teachers showed up than they did a couple of weeks ago to the protest in front of the Sahara building. But yes, it was a good turnout in terms of youth and people talking to the media. There was a lot of good. The media wants to talk to students. They don't just want to talk to angry parents and teachers.
Because they're the ones that's being impacted.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the ones that's being impacted the most with the violence on campus. Well, I won't say the most. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the most. They're all involved in it. And I'm just happy that they are. Is there a question?
Is there a question?
There's a question.
I don't even know what that button said.
Here, let me replay it. Ready?
Girl, I got a question.
Okay, what's the question?
What's the question?
So this question was asked throughout the week, and it was, why can't we have metal detectors at schools? And I know there might be an answer around that, but I think your thoughts would be very impactful.
But even just I know that there has to be a big push around dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline. And if you're going to have metal detectors at schools, are you going to have them at all schools, or are you only going to choose those ones that are in the inner city or in urban settings? And so, if you're going to do it, it has to be equitable across the board. But if you're not and you think you're just only going to do it in those schools that are in lower income neighborhoods or that um, highly populated with Black and brown populations, it's going to be problematic.
You know what I want to add? I don't, the kid who raped and beat the teacher at El Dorado did not have a gun, did not necessarily even have a knife. He just forced his way in and he strangled her. He tried to strangle her. The fights that we see at Desert Oasis, there are no guns. Those are fights between kids. There was somebody who brought guns to Liberty, and that was a gang. This is so interesting to me. It was a gang fight. There were some people who went to one school and other people went to another school. The same thing happened at Western High School. And there were a bunch of people who got in their car and went to Liberty and to make the fight in person because it had been done all online, right? Social media. And they had guns in their car. But those guns never got into the school, right? They found the guns in their car after they arrested them. There are some incidents that I've heard throughout the year where an adult will walk into the school or on school grounds with a gun. But I have rarely, and sometimes you find there is a gun in somebody's backpack, right? And I know that we are very, very much afraid of school shootings. I get that. Yeah. I just don't see it as happening. The violence is happening with or without guns. We need to address the violence, not. And I look, if I'm going to a school and I have to walk through a metal detector, the first thing I'm going to think is either I should be very afraid or these people are trying to get me. Right? I'm going to think that I'm being watched and it's not going to be a good learning environment. So there are a lot of studies about metal detectors in school and what their problems are. Yeah, we have a question?
We have a comment from one of our viewers, Jenna. You can have metal detectors if each school pays for it. Harv has said he will not pay for them as statistically they are not effective.
Right.
I call that an equity issue. I just want to highlight that comment.
Thank you for doing
well,
that.
I don't know. I think that there are a lot of Title I schools who get a lot of money who could afford those metal detectors. And we're getting to AB 469 here, but those schools can't find the highly qualified teachers to teach, so they have money to buy the metal detectors because they're not paying as much for teachers. That's a whole other thing. But this phrase is going to come out of my mouth. I agree with Jara. That's the first time I've ever said it. But I agree. Statistically, they do not work, and they just make people feel like they're in some sort of prison system.
Right. But also, it's again when you say they can purchase them, but who is going to man them? Mm-hmm. Who is confiscating whatever is found? Like there's a shortage all around, and it's
right.
They
want to put cameras in the schools. Who's going to be watching the cameras? Is it going to be school police? Is it going to be Metro? There's a difference in terms of what they can and can't do.
Is it done remotely? Like it's
right.
so much. It's so much. But
right.
School safety is absolutely an issue. I want to hold space, just a moment of just silence for that educator who man, I can't even imagine. So just a moment for her, please. Sending her lots of positive energy and healing energy, and just so sorry that happened to her on one of our school campuses. Just so sorry that happened to her, period.
Yeah.
But on our school campuses, I mean, it just shows that there's a lack of safety all around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Okay, well, on that, We've talked about a lot of these things that are on our list here. We got a list that we kind of put up.
We got a list that I can't see because I don't have on my glasses.
I want to talk about ESSER funds though. They came out.
Can you tell us what ESSER is?
I know. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Q. That like what the hell are they talking about? So ESSER, I don't know what it stands for, but it's the third round of COVID relief funds from the government. There was ESSER 1, ESSR is the acronym. There was ESSER 1, which happened in 2020. There was ESSER 2, and there's ESSER 3. And for ESSER 3, we got about $900,000.
Where did ESSER come from? The ESSER funds come from?
The government, the federal government.
From the American Rescue.
Okay, I thought I said that.
From the American Rescue Plan Act. Is that ARPA?
That's ARPA, and I don't know the difference between ARPA and ESSER. Honestly,
ARPA, whoever.
I don't get that. So
Just give us the money.
Maybe Max can get us the
Just give us the money, but also it's like once we get it, we have to make sure that it is allocated where it needs to go.
Right.
So
Like
ESSER stands for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief.
Okay, so ESSER is the ARPA, but specifically for schools.
Right.
So it bypassed the state and it went directly to districts. That's great. We got about $800,000 or $900,000 from them, which we could spend on many, many things. And Kelly Ballard went through a whole list of things that we were going to spend it on, and they've been thinking about this and working on this. If you remember, there were community groups that were put out that they sort of like bypassed the trustees because Jar didn't trust the trustees. He doesn't like them, so he doesn't want to work with them. And then, or some of them, and then they went to these community groups to host meetings
because legally they had to.
They did have to host meetings. Yes,
they had to host meetings with the community.
And right, so they
get input and buy-in from the community, but doesn't mean that they had to listen to what the community had to say.
No, it did not.
Oh, is that what?
No, it did not.
I don't know exactly how
to listen to what the community had to say.
I know when we were approached that, community members, community organizations, came together to put together these meetings to have listening sessions, but not only listening sessions, they were very actionable.
Yeah.
What is it that you need to see in your school?
Yeah.
Students were present, educators were present, support staff, trustees even. So they heard what were the needs.
So one of the things that Make It Work did was this group talk to people in the community, organize them to talk to the community groups, and then
the Rise Up Nevada and Ty's Place.
Yes, right.
They partner up with Tulips.
Tulips. Okay. And came up with ELL as a top thing, right? Came up with mental health as a top thing. And I can't remember what the third top thing was without looking.
Technology, I believe.
Was it technology?
Technology, broadband. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got technology. Technology is getting almost $197 million to upgrade technology. We don't. Part of my problem with last night's board meeting was that they didn't specifically say what we're buying with this technology. We're not seeing the spreadsheets behind this. And from the questions that the board was asking, I don't think they have seen the spreadsheets behind this either. But we are getting, technology is getting the most money of anything. What's getting the least money of anything? Mental health.
Which we know.
And crisis response. Mental health and crisis response are getting, about $16 million combined. And we already know we need mental health supports. And yes, there are very few mental health professionals to hire at this point in time, but people have been saying for a long time, we need to put a lot of this ESSER funding into scholarships for people to go through school to get their social work degrees, to get their psychology degrees with a promise contract that they will then work for the school system for 5 years. That is the way that you build capacity. And we do not have this in here, that building capacity. I'd like to see the details on the upgrade of technology, but I'm not, and there's a direct allocation to elementary schools. It's great. I don't know why there's not a direct allocation to other schools, but I'm not seeing the details, and I'm very bothered by the little bit of mental health services we have.
And even with the mental health,
Good question.
Girl, I got a
Does
question.
crisis response include police?
I do not know. There's no detail.
There's no
here.
breakdown or detail.
That is a
So
great question.
that's one that we need to find out. And also digging deeper into the mental health aspect, because I know that they've been working with Care Solace, and I know Hazel Health was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And even for parents who have tried to utilize these services, and you call and you're still told that there's a 4-week wait.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have 4 weeks to wait when youth are experiencing mental health challenges, when our suicide rate is raising and nobody is saying anything about it. We don't have 4 weeks to wait for these organizations. And, I know families personally who have had to work with their administrators at their school who escalated it up, because this student doesn't have 4 weeks to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And so get a call back saying, we can get you in tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
What about those students who don't have strong advocates, or whose parents don't know where to go, who don't know what to do?
Yeah.
And same thing with those administrators who, may not know how to escalate it up the chain. So they can put dollars there all they want to, but until they start investing in the infrastructure, we'll be in the same place.
I will not believe them when they talk about health or mental health until they approve Hickey Elementary School's health clinic, which they've been trying to get in for 3 years. And that would serve the community and
give us a little background.
They've been trying to put a health clinic in their schools because it's kind of a health desert. There are a lot of people in Hickey Elementary and Darrell White School, Bailey Middle School, Sunrise Mountain High School, and there's some other elementaries around there who could use it, and they would give free health care to families, not just the kids, but to their families also in the community. They have it all planned out. They finally got approval a couple months ago in the consent agenda, and now there's some holdup with UNLV, and Ed Gonzalez has been talking to me about this, and I don't have those details, but there's some holdup. But it just sounds like bureaucratic stuff. And this is something that if Jara really wanted, he could push through. And it's not happening. And here are people who have been wanting to, before COVID even started, put a health clinic in their schools, and they still don't have it.
Because they know that there's a need.
Because they know that there's a need, and they're trying to fill their schools, which brings us to AB 469. Can we talk about that? What time is it? Oh, yeah. We got
It's 10:36. We good.
So AB 469 update. There was a meeting April 21st, about a week ago, with the board of there was a state board meeting, and they are going ahead with the first steps that they have to take before they put the district in receivership. And I have to explain to people, receivership does not mean they take over the district. There is nothing in Nevada law as of now, legislators who may be watching, there's nothing in Nevada law that allows any body from the state to take over the district, including the governor. Now they can change that. But right now, the only thing in Nevada law that allows anything close to that is AB 469, because the school district sued the legislature when it was first enacted because they wanted to stop it from happening. And so the legislators were like, well, we don't trust them that they're going to actually implement it. So we're going to put the state superintendent as overseer, which is what they did. So the state superintendent has the ability to put somebody in to make sure that AB 469 is implemented. And there are steps they have to go through. And they're sort of like channeling through those steps, right? There's an internal step they're going through right now, and then it will go to the Legislative Council Bureau. And no, yes, I think it will go to Legislative Council Bureau, and then it'll go to the interim committee for the legislature. And then they will put in somebody to be a consultant to help the people who are already there and to assess what's going on. And then if within 6 months nothing changes, then that person can, then Joan Ebert can, who is the state superintendent, can assign someone to take over the implementation of AB 469. As I've written, that doesn't mean that they replace JARA. What it means is they have to have their fingers in everything that AB 469 touches, and it's pretty much everything. So they have to have their fingers in school budgets. They have to have their fingers in contracts. They have to make decisions that are going to affect everything. Whether we get to that, when we get to that, because there will be lawsuits along the way, I don't know. And last night they formed, and my issue with this is that it was not agendized until just before the meeting. It was on a separate addenda. I had left the meeting because I thought it was pretty much over. And then people are texting me on my way home going, where did this come from? Wait. And these are people who look at the agenda very carefully, as I do. And it was an emergency agenda item to create a committee to deal with 469. And the committee will be Lola Brooks. And
they just pulled it out the box.
And they kept saying, one of the things that Irene Cepeda kept saying, and I don't really understand if she actually hears herself or understands the illogic of what she's saying, but she's like, well, we need something that's out in the open so that we're not sending these emails back and forth. And I'm like, why don't you just agendize it for a regular meeting? That's an open meeting. And you know what? Stop sending the emails if you don't like them. I mean, even if you have a committee, people are still going to be sending emails back and forth. So it makes me wonder if there are people participating in these emails that she doesn't want participating. And so she can say, well, you're not on the committee, so you can't send these emails. I have no idea. But it seemed like the stupidest idea to create a committee so that you can have open discussion that's different from the open meeting that you have every 2 weeks. Like, just agendize it for every meeting.
Meeting to meet.
Do you know who's on the committee so far?
I don't.
Lola.
Not right off.
And Katie Williams.
Yes.
Not right off. Okay.
Trustee Brooks and Trustee Williams so far. And
then Irene
President
Cepeda will.
has to choose a third person.
Two. It's a 4-person board. A 4-person committee. Should I apply?
Has been pushed out already.
Apply.
Should I apply to be on the
I
committee?
thought it was only trustees.
I don't know.
That was the conversation. It was only trustees.
It can't be only trustees because it can't be just 4 trustees.
I think the motion was for 3 trustees, and it was just them 3 because I had confirmed with someone that was sitting next to me.
Okay.
And they, so
But then at some point the lawyer Nicole said, my understanding was that this was a 4-person board, a 4-person committee. So they're going to have to, and that's one of the things that Linda Cavazos asked, because this was a surprise to her too.
Yeah.
This was a surprise to a lot of people. A lot of the it was a surprise to Linda. It was a surprise to Lisa. It was a surprise to Danielle. The others may have known. I don't know. But yes, that's one of the things that Linda Cavazos asked. Who's going to be on this committee? How do we choose them?
Which are very
it's pretty
valid,
much just Lola's
which
committee.
are very valid questions and concerns. Need transparency.
says, do principals have control over their school's websites? If so, could resources be added there and then grow throughout the community from there? I acknowledge it may not start where the admin is stretched, but any spark might help spread resources.
Okay, Lorna, I'm going to ask you to be more specific on that in terms of, hi, Lorna, by the way. In terms of what resources you're talking about. Yes, principals have control over their school websites. That's why all the websites look different. But I'm not really sure what resources you're talking about or how you're thinking about them growing. And you can, if you can type quickly, that would be great. If you want to, I don't know, call somebody. I don't really want to give them my phone number. I don't think Lorna has my phone number. You can ask Jenna for my phone number and then call me, and then we can put you on.
Put you live on the
Put you
air.
live on the air.
But
Yeah, 'cause I just don't want to get my phone number on the
resources
air.
be
But,
added there. Is that something that would happen, through the SOT?
why am I getting, yes?
So that was for a few minutes ago for mental health.
Oh,
For your AB.
I see. Thank you. Sorry. Our producer is a little slow.
The conversation about the committee was important.
Not that I just bulldoze through and say, I want to talk about this. No. For the health, yes, they can put resources. They can absolutely say, hey, we have resources here. But what Hickey wants to do is actually build a health clinic within their school to help the people who are there. And that takes not only district resources, money and what have you, but there are a lot of other approvals that you have to do when you open up a health clinic as opposed to a school. And they're getting stuck in those things. And I'm pretty clear that they're getting stuck in those things because somebody wants them to get stuck in those things. So that's my view of this. No.
Okay.
No. So if we can go and talk about AB 469 for a second longer, because there are a lot of things that people don't understand. One of the things that Irene Cepeda said last night was, if we look at this, we're at 90-10. And I'm like, I don't think anybody really understands what that means. So what the basic thing is, it's a pretty simple law, to be perfectly honest. Schools have a budget. They can spend their budget however they want, right? They have to buy things. They have to choose what they want to be in their budget, right? Now, Ed Gonzalez has said we should just give schools all their money, right? Have accounts set up for each school. Give schools all their, and I think there are accounts set up for each school. Give schools all their money, and then they can check off what they want and what they don't want. They can either buy it from the district or they can buy it from an outside vendor, with exceptions. And I think there are about 13 exceptions that the district has to do.
List those.
And I can list those.
Yeah.
The district has to deal with utilities. The district has to deal with collective bargaining. The district has to deal with payroll. There are, these are just like smart things. For some reason, Felicia Ortiz, the president of the State Board of Ed, keeps saying landscaping, but that is not something that a school can choose. That's actually something that's mandated to be given. You have to get it from the district, right? You can't go outside for landscaping unless you get an exception. There's a whole bunch of things. However, the issue is that here I get the budget, and then I have all these things that I can buy, and then in this column are all the people that I can buy them from. But except when it says landscaping or when it says utilities, the only column that I can check is district. And that comes out of my budget. And so the district, for reasons I don't understand, and it's supposed to be 80% of the budget is spent in schools, but that includes a portion of the utilities. The utilities are portioned out by whatever, 324 schools, whatever it is. That includes a portion of the cost of hiring people to do landscaping. And that should go in the school's budget. So when Gowdy says we can't get to the 85-15. We can't, the 85% should go in schools, 15% should just be for central. What he's ignoring, as far as I can tell, is that a lot, because they all often say we can't parse out the utilities, and I'm like, why not? Like, that should be part of the school's budget. It's not that hard. I feel like they just don't. Obviously, Jar has not wanted to do it since he got in. He doesn't like the idea. It wasn't his idea, and he just wants to kill the reorg. So this is where this is coming from. He wants to kill the reorg, and now the state is going, yeah, try.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you have questions on that. Ask me. You can always find me on Facebook or Twitter at Carrie Kaufman.
She reads it like the Bible, like she knows. she knows it. What else are we on?
The forums or that?
Oh my gosh, you need to just skip. Like, I couldn't tell if it was a board meeting or if it was a CCSD trustee candidate forum.
I know
there were many who are running for office who were there, and I had to make sure that they let it be known. And I'm running for this office.
Yeah.
Like, again, with the trustees who are there, like, I can't even imagine just like, these are people coming in applying for your job, basically, like in your face. Like,
I have to point out though
in your face.
that both Brenda Zamora and Fernando Romero, who are running against Irene Cepeda, they were both there. I don't think Fernando spoke. Brenda did.
Yeah,
And Brenda did not say, I'm a candidate. She just got up and said, hey, I think that this should be an ESSER. I think that this ESSER stuff is problematic. Can you please explain what's going on here? It's because she was speaking as a concerned citizen, and that says a lot. Everybody else who got up was like, I don't like this sex ed stuff, and by the way, I'm running for office. So thanks for telling us who you are. But it was absolutely a campaign for people who don't have the resources to actually do a campaign. And so they're coming up they're coming up during the meeting to say, I'm running against you. And I give props to both Brenda and Fernando for being there and being like, okay, I'm listening and I'm participating as I usually do. You people who just showed up and I've never met you before.
And we know who sent you. Thank you but that's another thing too. I'm almost happy that they got up and did that, because when you hear the cheers in the audience, or when they say that, you know who sent them, or who they're attached to, and you know what their values are and what their campaign points will be. So, and who they will be aligned with. So, and I need you to be aligned with. I need you to be aligned with the students. I need you to be aligned with. It's not special interests.
Right. Like there are people in that are running. I just realized there's another Irene that is running against Danielle Ford. She used to be in the legislature. She wasn't there last night. I've never seen her at a school board meeting.
It's okay.
That's very interesting.
It's okay to run for school board and never go to a meeting. Totally fine.
Irene Bustamante Adams. I just noticed that. Like, I feel like if you're running for school board meeting, you should be involved. If you're running for school board, you should be involved.
But involved meaning what?
You should have been there months ago, not just.
You could be involved because you actually in the streets making impact and waves and pushing policies and building up advocates, supporting your school, volunteering in your schools, in your community.
That's fair.
Just because you go to a school board meeting, because I know people who've been going forever, and what has changed?
Nothing. However, you really do have to know the dynamics. You have to know how to get things done and how things are blocked. Because people are like, I want to do this. I think there was a whole thing on the parents page about what would you ask the school board members. And they were like, they were listing operational stuff. And I'm like, okay, school board has nothing to do with that. They can't do that. They're not empowered to do that. They're not empowered really to do anything at this moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's no, I hear you. Like it doesn't. I don't think attending the school board meeting should be a criteria for if you're going to run or not.
No, you need
But
to know
I
how
hear
it
what you're
works.
saying. You need to know how it works, and can a lot of that can be done by. I'm happy that we have options on watching it at home.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm happy that that's not the only meeting concerning public education that happens throughout the month. But I do commend those who do come and listen and participate, but don't cause a distraction.
Mhm.
Like really coming there to offer solutions, really coming there to be willing to collaborate and work together. But for those who are coming and they're just pushing continued divisiveness, it's problematic.
Agreed. Do we have a question?
Just comments.
Oh,
who said
let's
something?
have our comments. What are the comments?
It just said, and didn't CCEA endorse the other Irene who has never showed up?
Yes, CCEA did endorse the other without actually talking to any of the other candidates at District F, and there's like 30 million of them. And there's 10. Okay,
30 million,
30 million,
10, new
10. Yeah, really, whatever. But they didn't talk to any of the other candidates. They also endorsed Irene Cepeda without talking to the other candidates. So yeah, there's definitely a.
I hear you. And it should be a process that, that you do talk to everyone, but also I appreciate you not wasting people's time when they're out there, they have a campaign that they have to do. So a lot of those endorsement interviews and all that stuff, like it's really time consuming. It can be really time consuming and it's a lot.
Fernando did speak. He brought up the issues that were going on Global Community High School with the building and the no bathrooms. He just brought it up again because it is still an issue.
Oh, I missed that.
It was towards the end.
Okay.
But yes, he was there too.
Okay, so I had left already.
For
Okay.
bathrooms and stuff because it's.
So with the bathrooms,
That is
and
fair.
where the
That's
staff would have
cool.
to share bathrooms with the students.
They're apparently building one building and there's only one restroom. Mm-hmm.
But is there one building? But is there restrooms in the admin part of it? I just can't even.
I don't think
fathom
so.
that they
kept
only
saying
made-
that students and staff had to
share. That's what I think he was mentioning yesterday. And it's a 2-story building with one bathroom.
2-story building,
Yes,
one bathroom.
yes. For both students and staff.
And the excuse they give is, well, we needed room because you guys said you wanted more room. And my thing is, like, Global Community the high school was supposed to be Global Community High School, new building for Global Community High School. And then Jara came in and Jara wanted to change it to a workforce development high school. And by the way, Irene Bustamante Adams works for a workforce development place, and I need to talk to her about, what her ties are to Global Community. But then it became sort of this workforce development school. And then the people at Global Community were like, what's going on with our school? Why aren't we getting a school building? And then they said, oh, okay, fine, we'll cut it in half. And so, so you get your school. But they didn't get their school. They got half their school. It was supposed to be their school to begin with.
One bathroom.
And now it's one
I'm
bathroom.
still, my face is like this because I'm like.
I do not know if the issues, because there's some issues with getting kids in wheelchairs in. So yeah, I don't know.
So it's not even
any issues with
accessible. So that.
Okay.
Where the plans at? That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
For school.
What else?
What?
Ooh, support a
Support a
school.
school.
So which one did we choose? So many supporter schools, and thank you for those who have been supporting our schools. And we have Northwest Tech Academy is looking for a pasta maker. And they are also.
They must have a cooking program.
They
I'm
have a
assuming.
cooking. They do have a cooking program, and they're in need of a pasta maker. And
What was the school? I'm sorry.
Northwest Tech is the school. So if you have a pasta maker that you're not using, no, I'm just
They
playing.
also say gift cards.
And they are looking for gift cards
For
as
movie
well
passes,
as
fast
incentives.
food,
Oh,
stop.
nice.
Yes, incentives for the students.
Incentives
That's
for the
nice.
students. So gift cards of any denomination at different fast food restaurants. What is it? Was it game stores on there?
GameStop.
Oh, GameStop. So yeah. So if you have a few extra ducats and you want to support a school, check out support a school on the CCSD website. Click on Northwest Tech and help them. Or you can contact us too. We'll deliver them if
It's
we.
on the comments too.
Thank you. We'll deliver them to the schools. We don't have a problem with that.
Mhm.
We'll be that bridge. Is there anything else?
Teacher appreciation.
You what?
Ooh,
Teacher Appreciation
Week is coming up. Oh my goodness. Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up. Educators, we adore you. I know I do.
May 2nd to the 6th. We gotta let them know.
Oh, May 2nd to May 6th, next week.
May 2nd to May 6th. Please be intentional. Make sure that you're letting the educator know how you value them. I think they can take gifts, can't they?
Absolutely.
They can
Absolutely. Teachers drink coffee a lot.
Yeah.
So I
Teachers.
heard in a group where they say, even though we appreciate, Starbucks gift cards, but some of us do not drink coffee. So something that we would appreciate would be Amazon gift cards or Target gift cards.
Oh.
So I really wanted to bring
Okay.
that up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gift cards.
So, yeah.
Amazon, Target. If you wanted to help with a pasta maker, they do sell pasta makers, pretty good ones on Amazon. So that could be helpful too. And
So yeah,
flowers, whatever is sincere from your kid's heart, I think will touch teachers a lot.
absolutely. And also, even if you don't have funds, a simple thank you goes a long way. A simple just having that conversation or a handwritten card can go a long way as well. So if they're just make sure that you let them know you appreciate them. And we just missed Admin Professional Day was this week as well. So shout out to those admin professionals. We don't want to forget you either.
Who are under the gun. So one of the things that happened this week is that SEPTA got an award. They're like the best magnet program in the country.
There are great things happening in public education here.
Yes.
In Clark County.
Yeah.
So shout out to them too, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Before we leave, I did get a box. I did get a.
Ooh, look at that.
Someone delivered these, and I know that you probably can't see it, but it's the Emperor's New Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a story about honesty. And the note inside said, please give this to school board trustees or those who are running to be school board trustees. So I have 7 copies. If there's anybody watching who would like one, I can't make this stuff up. I promise you I did not purchase these. Shout out to the individual who sent these to us.
Thank you.
And we have great friends at I'm Young and Empowered who care about education, but the Emperor's New Clothes, a story about honesty. If you want a copy, let us know.
Cool.
And
that's really cool.
That's it. Oh man.
Yeah, really.
May 13th.
We will see you on May 13th.
Oh my God, it's Friday the 13th.
Yes.
And guess who's playing Jason?
Okay, so no, it's not. I mean, March 13th, 2020. That was it. That was the day that will live in infamy. And
Oh my goodness.
No, but it's May 13th.
It was March 14th or March 15th when everything shut down.
when everything shut down, but
Yeah.
March 13th, it was very doomy and gloomy,
That
and
you
people
knew.
left school going, "What the
You knew
hell
what was
is going
happening.
on?"
Yeah.
And there were teachers who were like, "Can we take our stuff home, please? Because I think we're going to be home." Do we have a question?
Yes, someone had asked what's the location of Global Community high school?
It is where the old Gorman
It's
High
on
School used to
Washington
be.
and Pecos.
Washington and Pecos.
By the Arco, behind the Arco.
Okay, behind the Arco, for the oldsters here, for, people like me, it's where the old Gorman High School used to be. But yeah, Arco and Pecos. Behind the Arco on Washington and Pecos.
Dang, Gorman used to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm only 25. I don't remember stuff like that. Also, if you're looking at reading, reading
Oh
to your
yeah,
youth,
you
reading
remember
to your
Candy,
youth.
anti-racist baby.
Come on, the anti-racist baby. Good read. It celebrates all our differences, uses words to talk about racism, understands that people aren't the problem, policies are.
And Gorman was on Maryland Parkway. She just checked you.
Wait a second, though. I've been told that it is the site of the old Gorman, so maybe we're wrong. Global Community High School.
Fact check.
Tameka, you were just there, right?
Global Community
I
is
was at
currently
Global.
on Washington Avenue. The new building is on Maryland Parkway where Gorman used to be.
So maybe because I thought you were saying that global is where, we're talking about the present global where it is now, but you're talking about the one that's going to be built.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And that's not an
original
easy
one-
thing to find, but I have been told many times that it's going to be at the site of the old.
Right. I think that there was just some confusion.
Share its new campus at Maryland Parkway in Okie.
Yes, that's where Gorman used to be. Correct. But we thought,
Okay.
y'all know what we talking about. Y'all know what just happened. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching the rundown. I was going to say the Young and the Restless.
We'll see you. Not the young, really not very young at all.
It's okay, and I just encourage you to keep supporting it. Keep supporting public education. Keep staying in tune to what's going on. And if you have solutions, just make sure that you're thinking, it's okay to think outside of the box.
People care about this.
Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you May 13th.
Thank you, May 13th. Bye.